I'm Brian Smith from Bandwidth Blog, and today we're back to take a deep dive with Huawei's P10. We loved last year's Huawei P9, and this year the P10 arrives as a follow-up effort, which intends to take the best parts of its predecessor forward into 2017. What's unique this year is that the P10 arrives with a larger sibling in tow in the form of the Huawei P10 Plus, an iPhone-like partnership save for the fact that both devices in this lineup carry the dual-lens camera array that the P9 was renowned for. With both these handsets, Huawei enters into a highly competitive arena, where ambitious efforts such as the Samsung Galaxy S8 and LG G6 are battling for consumer attention. Does the P10 climb its way up the smartphone hierarchy as Huawei intended? Let's dive in and find out. Out of the box, consumers will receive the Huawei P10 itself, in addition to a staple set of earphones and a USB Type-C charging cable and adapter, a welcome change from last year's micro USB. The better parts of the P10 are subtle. Huawei's typical rear-facing fingerprint scanner is now front and center, and the handset's right-hand power button supports a grip. In the hand, this is a rigid design that inspires a lot of confidence, a far cry from the glass sandwich design that's proven popular this year. On the rear, the P10 includes the same stylistic camera array the P9 did, and mercifully doesn't include a protruding camera bump. While Leica also returns in partnership with Huawei this year, a major change is the presence of a redesigned 20-megapixel monochrome sensor and a 12-megapixel color unit. Let's take a brief detour and run through specs. The P10 is powered by Huawei's own Kirin 960 chipset and accommodates 4 gigs of RAM and 32 or 64 gigs of internal storage. A typically sizable 3200 mAh battery meets Huawei's demands. And lastly, the handset has an 8-megapixel selfie camera for nights out on the town. So, for your money, what does the P10 bring? The great news is that this is a sensible effort that brings to bear an air of refinement. The Kirin 960 chipset, while not as power efficient as Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 835, offers buttery performance. And where the handset might lose out in power management, it has a larger battery cell to push through a full day's use, and often into the 16 to 20 hour period. Huawei's MIUI Android skin naturally returns on the P10, and though for some consumers that remains a make or break factor, Huawei has taken some steps to bring the skin closer to stock Android. The P10's fingerprint scanner is possibly the fastest unit we've ever used, and is easy to find without a second glance. In terms of shortcomings, the standard P10 uses only a 1080p resolution, a standard most 2017 flagships have raced past, meaning that consumers will need to fork out for the larger P10 Plus for greater display depth. Undoubtedly, the P10's breakout feature is its camera array. This time around, Huawei and Leica have redoubled their efforts to address not only last year's shortcomings, but improve on existing strengths. The P10's primary cameras excel at capturing detail in low light. Color often punches through even in dim settings, and a 20-megapixel monochrome sensor performs above and beyond its duties in capturing crisp detail without having to over-sharpen an image. If there's one thing you've likely heard about the Huawei P10, it's that this is a handset with superb portraiture abilities. The co-developed dual camera array leverages its wide aperture mode to produce beautiful depth of field effects, enhancing color while replicating gripping textures. Huawei's own 100 Portraits campaign has seen photographers around the world use the P10 to capture everyday faces, a masterclass in how the device's savvy focus and definition helps to evoke meaningful stories. If you were hesitant to purchase the P10 to capture video, think again. The handset now leverages both cameras to reel in footage, something we found remiss aboard the P9. To wrap up, is the P10 worth your cash? We'd argue that the P10 remains one of the market's most quietly confident contenders. The presence of a conservative design and MIUI might well disappoint those seeking an all-out assault on the smartphone market. However, a savvy feature set and battery life round out a principled design that offers excellent ergonomics, and the handset's breakout selling point remains its camera array. For consumers seeking a device simple in its sophistication with an excellent camera array, the Huawei P10 remains a fantastic choice that doesn't bring with it the price tag of some of its other Android rivals. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, Instagram and Google+, and check out our full written review on bandwidthblog.com.